Hello and welcome. You're watching We Mean Business, and it's been a big day today for India's stock market, and the regulator, India's stock market regulator, Securities and Exchange Board of India, has today decided to make quite a bit of changes in the way mutual funds are administered, and besides that, also in the way primary market issues happen, trying to get more retail investors into the market fold, and that has been one big worry for the markets. Besides that, they've also, as I mentioned, brought about changes in the way mutual funds are administered. So that is also something that we'll be talking about. So all of that we'll be talking about in over the next 60 minutes or so on We Mean Business. But first, let me tell you, and let me introduce, and we caught up with Milind Barve. He is the chairman of Association of Mutual Funds of India and AMFI, and also the managing director, HDFC Asset Management Company, HDFC AMC. We'll be speaking to him. Besides that, we'll be also joined by Ashok Kumar, MD of Lotus Knoll Wealth, joining us from Mumbai. Shrikant Meenakshi, co-founder Fund India, will be joining us from Chennai. Gautam Mehra, the executive director at PricewaterhouseCoopers, will be joining us from Mumbai, and Prithvi Haldia, founder and chairman of Prime Database, will be joining us from Delhi. So all the big voices talking about the way markets will react and the way markets will see this entire thing. But first, let's go across and now go across to Vijay Iyer, my colleague, who gets us the details on exactly what the announcements have been from Sebi and the Sebi chairman today. Vijay.
Absolutely. Indeed, it was a big day for the mutual fund sector and the primary markets as a whole. As UK Sinha was pointing out during the press conference, the important announcement when it comes to mutual funds include, basically they have allowed fungibility or given more flexibility when it comes to ensuring how the expenses are managed by the fund houses. Having said that, the long pending demand was that the expense ratio has to go up. Sebi, although has allowed the expense ratio to go up by 30 bips, they have ensured that this can happen only, say, if the distributors go beyond the top 20 cities to tier 2, tier 3 cities. And if that happens, yes, 30 bips in the expense ratio increase will be allowed to the fund houses. So there is a caveat, although Sebi has increased this by 30 bips. Also, what they have done is they have allowed the exit loads to be re-entered into the AUMs. This in a way would help take care of a lot of expenses going forward, particularly would say benefit the big fund houses. Also, the other important aspect is Sebi has said that service tax henceforth will have to be taken care, or the burden will shift to retail investors. And of course, the Rajiv Gandhi Equity Savings Scheme, which has been spoken for a long time, Sebi has said that the government should rather allow it to be routed through the mutual fund houses. Now going back to the primary market, where other set of reforms have happened. On one hand, they have allowed e-IPO, thereby making, say, the ASBA system mandatory for retail investors. Also, the whole of application amount, minimum bid application amount, which is earlier at 10,000, now has been increased to 15,000. But having done that, they have also ensured to take care of retail investors' interest, wherein any company or the promoters will have to ensure that there is a bare minimum of allotment that happens to a retail investors. Now, coming on to the other aspects of primary market reforms include that the IPO bid period. Earlier, the companies will declare the IPO price or the price band only 2 days prior to the IPO listing. Now, that has to be done 5 days in advance so that there is enough clarity to the investor. So these are some of the important announcements, and the other important aspect is of the profitability. Earlier, if you have no profit for the preceding 3 years, then 50% has to be allotted to the QIBs. Now this quota once again has been increased to 75%. So once again, the whole aspect has been to try and increase the investment from a long-term perspective in the equity markets. So these are some of the other initiatives or announcements or decisions taken by Sebi board. Just quickly should also want to point out here that the other important aspect that the Sebi board has not taken a decision is allowing the retail investors to exit an IPO if it priced below the IPO price. That is one aspect which UK Sinha said will take more time and deliberation before they decide on these aspects. So these are some of the primary important decisions taken, clear-cut moment objective was to get back the equity investors into the equity market, retail investors, and try and get back the momentum which also the finance ministry wants very badly when it comes to the Indian capital markets.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for retina display. Full screen view. Faster response time. And Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.